Hello, Victoria 3 fans. I want to first comment about mods, and this is a good piece of news here, because I've done a little tinkering, and now I've got color map all the way down. Yes, it's crazy. I won't bore you with the details. Oh, please bore us. If you want to be bored with details, go to my Discord server, and the details are there about which files and lines we're modding. But suffice to say, we figured out the code, and I got this. Is it perfect? Well, okay, I'm not crazy about this color or the colored lines showing up the way they are, but I don't hate it either, so let it go. Anyway, I've got that working. Yeah. With that in place, it's now time to play a nation. I won't do France, I won't do Prussia, I've done them recently. I really enjoyed Sokoto and Egypt playthroughs. Sokoto more than Egypt, but still, both of them were great fun. In taking nations that were behind in terms of technology and having them emerge as towers of the sciences and arts. And I want to do that again. And so I'm playing Russia. And you're going, wait a minute, Russia's not a tiny nation. Au contraire, I can play it like a tiny nation, being very careful and dainty so as not to break things nearby. I want to try to use diplomacy as much as possible. Now, Russia has the capability to take nations that are in its power block and crush them. Bring them peacefully into its orbit and eventually empire. But that will be done peacefully as much as possible. For example, right now there is a diplomatic play in China. It looks like England is going for a treaty port, and I could actually join in, and I could get a war goal, and I could conquer a state. And wait, bad Russia, because Russia is not going to do that in this playthrough. Russia is going to be a gentile. What would be the inspiration? I remember an old anecdote, and that's what it is, an anecdote about how Russia became Orthodox. The saying was that the king of Rus, which was in Kiev, sent out emissaries to Catholicism, Orthodoxy, and Islam to find out what their religions were like. So the Catholic one went to Poland and found everybody there living in squalor and said, no, this ain't for us. Then the one went out to Islam and asked them, hey, what's up? And they said, oh, look at our splendor. Yes, you do have splendor. We like that. And anything else we need to know? No pork or drinking. Wow. Okay. Islam's off the table. They need pork and drink in Russia. So even back in pre-well-recorded history times, we'll say. And then the emissary shows up in Constantinople and sees the splendor. And what? You can also drink and eat pork? We're in. Probably the conversion to Eastern Orthodoxy had much more to do with the fact that the Byzantine Empire was a very powerful group on the borders of Russia, and it would do well to be in good with them in case something went down. And so they more political than it was that anecdote. But being inspired by that, what if Emperor Nicholas sent out emissaries to the Western world to find out which nation should we emulate? And he sent one to France, and he found kings' heads rolling around in the street and thought, no, not here. No. I don't even want to begin to do that. We're authoritarian. So they're out. Then sent one to England and came right back because we have a rivalry with England, and there's going to be some beef here because we're playing the great game. So he didn't even get there. Sent one to Prussia and noted that, well, they didn't kill kings there, but they do an awful lot of marching and wearing buttons on their coats and stuff. Don't like that. And then he sent the emissary to Vienna and saw the splendor. And you guys are eating pork and drinking. Yeah, we are eating pork and drinking. We have the schnitzel. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, we want this. Oh, yes. And what do you do for dessert? We have the Sachertorte and the chocolate torte, and we have all the torte. Yeah, we are so happy here in Austria. That's what we want. Russia wants to become Austria in this game. Very political, very artistic, very scientific, a pillar of civilization. However, to become a pinnacle, you first got to get out of the ditch. And so this is why, as Russia, I do have to build up my government administration as we pass laws, and I'll get to that in a bit here. But while we're going along, we are building a big statue. That's artistic. We are working on universities. We're building opera houses, arts academies, publishing industry. We do need some lead, coal, and sulfur for the observatory that we have, just scientific quantities only. And why not also build a volcano observatory out in Kamchatka? Science. That's what's most important. Invading China? No. No. Do we want to become like the British? Look at who they are. No. Look at Austria. That's what we want. So, we want the arts. So to do that, in my top bar here, I'm going to now be tracking my architect splendor, my music tradition, my my literary tradition, and my artistic tradition. I need to see where these guys are, and hopefully they get up into the high thousands by the end of the game. Well, or at least 1,000. we go, please. Not so worried about deficit on taxes because we're making plenty of dosh right now. We're fine. The architecture itself is going to be a bit rough because we are using this one. We could go up to iron frame buildings, but having played Russia before, I know that iron there is gonna be a problem where it says I need another 1,000 irons. I don't have that much. I really don't. We're at minus 39 already. I don't need to go to minus 1,139. No, we are not doing this. No. So take it easy, build with wood. We can build lots of things with wood. They'll be very pretty. And then when the time is right, make the shift. Make the shift. We were talking about laws, because we need the government administration for that. Yes. We went for laws that were easily passed. They didn't offend the powers that be, because the powers that be are the Gentry Assembly, and I brought the Orthodox Church in. Stays at 100%. And the reason I bring the church in is because they can help get some things passed that I would like to have passed. Namely, we got charity hospitals because of them, and I could use them also to get religious schools. But to do that, we need to get off of serfdom. We can't get any schooling until serfdom is out. Okay, that is going to be a bit tricky because the Gentry Assembly love it so much. They don't like tenant farmers, and they really don't like homesteading. But if we get them happy enough with other laws, we might be able to get this done. And why would we need to do that? What's the rationale in the capital? Well, Tsar Nicholas says we must be more like Austria. And the people there could say, well, Austria has actually abolished serfdom lately, within the last 100 years. Are you going to abolish serfdom as well? I don't know about that. Well, how are the people going to go to school and develop the arts and sciences? We don't need all the people to do that. Well, no, but you'll get better artists and better scientists if you do abolish serfdom and let people, go to school. Maybe. So to help things along, we've passed the dedicated law enforcement, not the local one, because that gives too much power to the local landowners, and I'd like to have the petite bourgeoisie, the small businesses, kind of emerge there. They will be patrons of the arts eventually. Aha. And with the health system in place, we are actually going to get better food security, better standard of living, lower mortality. We're not worried about pollution today, but this is good here. We can also ramp up on this once we get more of our administration, and administration is a good way to get that peasantry and the lower classes to enter into a more affluent strata where they can demand other things and promote businesses and things like that. So this is the thin end of the wedge, as it were. But right now we need to look for a new law to pass. Are we really ready to end serfdom now? I don't know. Well, this one here, we can't have traditionalism. Okay, so how do we get off of traditionalism? Well, could we go to interventionism? Because I really like that one. And no, you can't have serfdom. What about agrarianism? I mean, is anybody against it? The Gentry Assembly is against agrarianism. Great. Because they like traditionalism. But that reduces our taxation capacity massively, whereas agrarianism lifts that. Of course, it also messes up our heavy industry construction efficiency. But, well, all things in time. If we get rid of serfdom, we can go to interventionism. And the Gentry Assembly is minus 10 on that. It's only minus 5 on that. Okay, how about a compromise? On our way to getting rid of serfdom, we could pass agrarianism and just take that as a middle step there. Let's try that. You know, the funny thing is this image here, to me, in the small version, it looks like a Grim Reaper with a cape flowing in the wind. And then up close, it's like, oh, it's a lady with a cow. Okay. Because this part here, where the cow's head is, that really looks like, you know, the Grim Reaper's cape fluttering in the wind and all that. And but let's enact this one here. The Gentry Assembly won't like it, but if you're going to be more like Vienna, you got to get rid of serfdom, and you got to, you got to do some things. So we're going to work with that. But invade China? Absolutely not. That's not what this Russia is. Russia is a small nation. Russia's a small nation in this playthrough. Wrap your head around that. There will be some exceptions, though. If provoked, then Russia will Hulk smash, because they're large and green. So if someone is attacking us, destroy everything in the path, and then once the red mist clears, we put the bow tie back on and go back to playing some concertos and stuff and painting and like that. We'll be artistic again. But peaceful as much as possible. So as far as this China thing goes, we declare neutrality. We don't want to be involved. Not because we have a very small army in the region and the logistics would be a nightmare, because we're not going to be like the British. We're not going to stoop to their level. Ew. Here's one of those provocations. Our caravans are being assaulted by Kenesari Kazimuli. We shall now add pacification of the steppes to our journal. Grr, pacifying time. What do we got to do for this? We need to take all eligible subjects. Okay, so basically we have to take over the Kazakh steppes. So that'd be the Zhuzs. Well, we are get them to be puppets and liberty desire less than 25. Well, currently, let's take a look in that area. They are all protectorates, but they are going down. So yeah, we can work with that. Looks like I need to answer my phone for a second. Apparently there is a video of a beaver building a dam near the water heater that demanded my immediate attention. I've taken care of the situation, watched a few more, and we're coming back to dealing with the Cossack step. I must make them puppets. Well, the easiest way to do that is kill them with kindness. I am already improving my relations. I can't do enough to them to actually make them puppets. We'll just lean into it, and over time we'll be fine. Oh wait, it says we'll time out in 10 years. Well, hopefully within 10 years we'll have made them all into puppets. And see, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Arts. Karl Bulow is one of my favorite artists. This is why I like doing an artistic Russia, because I really do enjoy 19th century Russian painting, literature, and music. It was a great set of movements there. And Bulow. Oh, wow, he's a wonderful, wonderful stuff here. And here we have the Roland blows his Olifant. You know what? It'd be lovely to hang in a gallery. We need a gallery. We need one. We need many galleries. And one thing I love about Russia is they got some good galleries there. Yeah. And don't just say, oh yeah, the Hermitage. Yeah, the Hermitage is there. But there's also in St. Petersburg there's the Russian Museum, which is yeah, you want to go there. And then in Moscow, you've got the Tretyakov Gallery and several others there that are just amazing. Just yeah, they're fantastic things. So okay, we'll have that, and we need to build a gallery. Got that? Oh no, Pushkin's in a duel. No. By the way, a few people know this, but Pushkin was part African. People, isn't it African American? No, he's in Russia. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so let's see here. Oh yeah, he wrote a highly insulting letter to Georges d'Anth, his wife's alleged admirer, and he challenges him to a duel. They have to shoot at each other. I hope he survives. 90% chance he dies. I hope he survives. He dies. Okay, let's give him the one that has a chance. Because I really need Pushkin, man. He is awesome. The things he could do. Well, did he? Let's go to my arts. Do I got a Pushkin here? No, come back, come on. Artists, and oh no. I'll come back when I've dealt with the loss. I've recovered. Getting banking, that helped a lot. Oh, I feel so much better when I have banking. As for other things that are going on, we do have the London conference happening, and because the Dutch kind of had a thing with not St. Petersburg, but with Peter the Great, we kind of like them. We're going to favor Dutch claims. So yeah, deal with it, Belgium. We're backing the Dutch 100% on this. I should also point out that I've used the state transfer tool right here to do some things here in the game to clean it up. I did a test run previous to this where I combined states in various parts of the world to see if it would improve situations there, and it did. To wit, in Central America, taking this little bit of Guatemala and giving it to Mexico, because it never happens otherwise, just made the map prettier. Same thing with the Mosquito Coast. That's something that the British were trying to get rid of for most of the time period of this game. And instead, the game AI looks at it and goes, oh, that's a springboard into Central America. We can start conquering. No, they're trying to get rid of it. So let's just get rid of the thing, and now it's gone. It doesn't help Central America stay together, fall apart. It just makes the map prettier. Those are the changes I do in the Western Hemisphere. The rest of it it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine or getting better. In here, oh, I missed a spot. Well, I should have given this British West Africa bit over to Spain because Fernando Po is Spanish, but this is one of those things where, yes, it's historically accurate for 1836, but it messes up the rest of the game because of that, because the AI doesn't know what to do with it after 1836. It just thinks, oh, this is a springboard to empire, and starts doing it. So, but let's just let it slide. The British are going to expand into Africa anyway, and they are my rival. They're my big bad. I'll let it play there. Normally I try to remember to do that, but the rest of West Africa, yeah, it's fine. But North Africa, I forgot to do this. I combined Constantine and Aitabas, but I'll just let it go here. Italy, though, I simplified. A simpler Italy is something that the AI can figure out how to unify, and it helps a lot. I've taken Lucca and merged it with Tuscany. Modena and Parma are now one. Instead of having all of those extra pieces flying around, now whoever's running Sardinia can say 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it. I can count to 4. Same situation in Germany. When there were lots of little nations, the AI Prussia just loses its mind and can't keep them all in. Merging them, it plays better for Prussia. It formed the North German Federation much more easily than it did with all the little things flying around there. Yes, combining all these into Bremen, I feel kind of bad, but I felt kind of worse when they attacked Hanover and took over part of it, but then I felt even better when they were loyal to Germany and just joined right into the North German Federation and got that part taken care of. For the later part of the game, for the powerful nations that need to exist to make the late game compelling to play, I needed that to happen. So I combined them, and NGF formed. I was playing France, so Germany didn't get to form because France was busy being, clearing out the area. I'm not playing France right now, so it should form. It should form. This little mess over here, I'm going to leave the way it is until it gets problematic. The reason? Because it'll present some difficulty for a Russia emerging into this part of the world. I'll go with that. Make my game more difficult. Make it easier for, though, Ethiopia to form, and to do that, merged all these little tiny guys here into one, Sidamo, and now, instead of having 4 little guys that don't know what to do, and other nations going like, why would I want to attack that one? It's too small. Now there's something worth grabbing, and we're worth making a grab for. There's a lot more grabbing here, and Ethiopia when I did this, I actually saw these nations merging and working towards forming Ethiopia. It was not happening at all with the tiny little guys. With the larger nations, it works better. What should I do here? Honestly, well, I did combine the little guys here into Oman, Mombasa, and Witu. Just go in there. And I really should do the same thing here with Buganda. So let's do that. Let's turn on the state transfer tool. And this won't be but a minute here. I just need to mark the state and go in Ankole, mark the state, highlight Buganda, transfer. And for Burundi, mark state. For Kagawe, go in there, mark state, highlight Rwanda, transfer. It doesn't matter which one I go to. Last game it was Burundi. They all went into Burundi, and I had a green splotch there. What this means is when the colonizing nations hit this area, it's one war. They clear the deck, they get the state. Let's leave it like that. Okay, let's just leave it like that. For India, there's a lot of cleanup in here. This helps the stability of the East India Company to where it lasts longer. I had an India explosion in my last game, but it was later in the game. And when the India explosion happens, it broke into larger pieces instead of dozens of little. Whoa, no, larger pieces, and that meant less aggravation for me because it not only do the larger pieces mean less chance of a little pop-up saying, oh, there's a proletarian revolt going on here. There's also just less chance of those proletarian revolts because the larger states are more economically viable. To help out with the great game, took a couple of small nations here, and merged them with Kabul. I think, the Maimana, the Kunduz, just do it. Just do it. And Bahrain and Oman, they lost their possessions on the other side of the Persian Gulf because those were springboards for invasion. Britain would take over Bahrain and then use that little spit of land that Bahrain had to just conquer all of Persia with a land offensive. No. That's not cool, man. With Bahrain being on its side, if Britain takes over, fine. They still have to figure out how they're going to get to Persia without having a land border connecting things up. They got to push out through India the way they normally did. And yeah, that little Danish thing. Oh, darn it. That I forgot to transfer that over, so let's do that now. There we go. But yeah, the little Danish bit here and the Danish bit there, make them part of East India Company, and we're done. Same thing with the little Portuguese bits here. It's like, guys, Portugal, you have Goa. That's it. That's all you need. We're not using these little pieces here again that when India has an explosion, Portugal suddenly gets an Indian empire, which happened a few games ago when I was testing it. Like, oh, no. And likewise, more stability for the Dutch East Indies by combining all those little things into it. I know historically it didn't happen till late. Yeah, but right now it's happening here. And this means the Dutch East Indies will actually go after these small spots here and take them over. Bhutan and Bali. Oh, they already got Bali. Okay, well, there you go. Johor, give it the other two things here. Make the map look more like it did in Victoria 2, and actually the AI plays a lot better. You get rid of small countries, the AI plays better. I don't need a fancy AI does this and that mod. Get rid of the small countries, merge them into larger ones, and it plays better. It just does. By the time I get to 1860, 1870, all the map corrections I did from 1836 are going to make sense. It will feel like a better game. To that point, I am considering that if the East India Company has a Sepoy Mutiny or something similar to it in the 1850s, 1860s, then what I can do with that is, if it survives, take all the little pieces and just merge them into one big British Raj when it happens. Then my thinking is, should there be another revolution in this part of the world, if these guys are all absorbed into one big one, maybe India emerges as one big polity or two big polities or three instead of 5 or 6 or 10. I want to see what happens with that. But as it is, using the state transfer tool to make the game easier for the AI, same difficulty for me, but easier for the AI. If I was playing Prussia, I wouldn't mess around with merging the states. I would just keep them where they are. Or no, I say that and I think no. I probably would merge them, not to make the game easier for me, but to make it where those little states are less likely to have these convulsions of revolution that just... Anyway, that's what I'm doing there. As it is, we've just discovered the banking. What's the next technology we look at? We need to clear out all of our level 1s for sure. And one of those is empiricism, so we can get to just better education and investment. And from that, we can look into getting dialectics, which is going to be absolutely necessary for getting our universities better. But another one we also need is, I think one of these over here that there's a tech here. Oh, here it is, atmospheric engine. This gives us mathematical technical capability. We need that. Also, we need that so we can get more iron. But, well, we first need iron mines. Anyhow, I'm looking at ones that give us industry university bonuses with Morgenrot because that's the path I'm going. Morgenrot is very important for this playthrough because it's arts and sciences. We're trying to forget the third Rome. We want the second Vienna. Now the Russian Empire has a new mandate, and I need to choose carefully. Well, we could go with market unification, which puts us on a path towards creating a customs union. We need 2 levels of that to get that to happen. And that's nice. We could also boost to infrastructure. There's also advanced research, which will allow us to start with a little more technology spread, which is great for those of us who are behind. And then it leads to lower ahead of time penalty. We're not really worried about the ahead of time penalty. This would be a good thing, but this would also be a good thing. Given that I've got some pretty good bloc members in Finland and the Baltic states, not really worried about the other ones right now. Oh, Montenegro joined. This would be a good one to have, but this is probably a better one to have. Because it says disallow no schools. We can't enact no schools. So if you already have no schools, you keep it there, but you can't go back to it. I like that, yeah. This will keep us from going back. We're going to go and build our education. Love the background. It's very artistic. Very genteel. Oh, look at that. Yeah. And, oh, hey, Greece might join in too. Great. Love to see you, Greece. Yeah. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. Keep it to half an hour or so. You like, comment, subscribe if you want to support me. Don't worry about that. Support Trevor Project instead. Link in the description below. Do something good to help bring hope to other people, and you'll see more hope in your own life. As always, we'll see you on the next one.